Welcome to Investors Gallery, where we are actually in an amazing gallery instead of the almost finished gallery in my home, which I'm still really proud of. But we are in the South Woodlands Art Gallery, also known as SWAG. And there is 2 stories of amazing artwork, which you can see behind me. The place is so large that it's kind of hard to get a really nice perspective, but you can see a couple pieces behind me, and I will do a video tour later. So that will be added to the full-length interview with Crystal on YouTube. I want to thank everyone from all the podcast stations. And you know what, that reminds me, let's get us on Facebook real quick. I didn't hit the Facebook Live button. All right. Got it.
Oh, so I see it now.
Now that Facebook is live, I'd like to thank all the viewers on Facebook and all the other platforms. So I've been waiting for this day for a really long time. Believe it or not, the viewers on Facebook and all the other platforms. So I've waited. All right. I've been waiting on this for a really long time, not because of the art gallery, which is one of them, but I've been really excited to speak with Crystal. And I don't want to give everything away. I'll let her introduce herself, but I've been almost giddy like a little schoolgirl. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, thank you.
About yourself, and we'll kind of dig in from there.
Oh yeah. So my name is Crystal Liu. I run a real estate investment and development firm here in Atlanta, Georgia, where we do everything from concept to keys. So everything from land acquisition to the construction to the development, to getting the keys at the end. I raise private money from the equity standpoint, also debt also, and then we collectively as a team take down projects from start to finish.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it is.
And I saw it. Even that you know that you're a mother with many hats. So I like to start in the early days because we reach a lot of individuals.
Right.
That's purposely, because the audience that we want to bring onto this platform and into this podcast are individuals who do not have access to amazing people like you. If someone met you at Starbucks, you would be a unicorn. They would be like, I met this person and wow. And even though you are an absolutely amazing person and amazing at what
thank you.
For our industry and for our peers, it's not too uncommon to meet someone who has 50 million, a couple 100 million under management, because that's just what we do. It's like a banker knowing people who have money because that's what they do.
Right.
So we like to bring the public in who has an interest in investing, and they want to be able to talk to a real live investor or expert in whatever field. So I like to start at the beginning. When did your life change, or have you kind of always been in the commercial space? When did it start gearing towards the commercial multifamily realm?
So it started for me about 2 years ago. So I actually started a real estate business 2 years ago. At the same time, I started my custom woodworking company as well with a couple of other business partners on the woodworking side. So I started that about 2 years ago, but before that, I was a chief of staff for different chairmen and CEOs of different companies for about 12 years or so, give or take. And then was a CFO, CMO for different companies, different, construction companies, media, marketing, Charter Communications, Verizon Telematics, different companies. And then probably right before COVID hit, we started our woodworking company. And then I started my real estate business at the same time. And I was like, man, like, I love real estate. I've always loved real estate. And I was like, screw it. Like, I'm just going to dive in and just do it. right? Like I had a dream of getting into real estate and making an impact in people's lives, making a difference. And so I was like, I want to make change. So I was like, yeah, well, let me just start my real estate business. And so I did.
Wow. How did your family dynamic help or hurt you in that transition?
My family was there, and they were doing their own thing, but they were supportive in what I wanted to do and pursue.
That's
Yeah,
good.
my niece, or I'm actually my nephew was as well, because he was like, yeah, I can't wait to walk sites with you, and wear a construction hat, and own businesses and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, like I would love to put him, as like owners on some buildings, so that they have that income and that to own buildings, and be able to walk it and be able to like have that and be able to bring it down from generation to generation and create generational wealth. And so I can't wait to like walk properties and stuff with him.
And you have young ones, Rick, is that correct?
No, those are my niece and nephews. So
Okay.
I don't have any kids, but my sister's kids are kind of like, my kids as well. I treat them just like as they are my own. I spoil them just like they are my own. And pretty much any children that I'm around, I treat them just like they are my kids, because I would want that, if I was them. So
Yeah.
I try to give them, all the love and support that, children need.
Yeah. You can adopt me. I can cook too.
Sold.
Yeah, I promise I won't write on the walls or anything. So yeah,
Oh
I'll
yeah,
be able to make.
hey, I have Zoe, my niece, who's 6, wrote in permanent marker on in the kitchen. It's great. That's great.
Did you picture frame it?
Yeah, I definitely should have. I should have. I mean, it's still there,
That's
still,
cool. Well, yeah,
I
there
was
you
like
go.
memory,
Head to your nearest store and get you a clear picture frame and
right?
frame
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were afforded a lot of different experiences through your previous employment, and that helped you with your skill set to what you do now. Is that kind of correct?
Oh yeah, but then in real estate, it took a lot of grit, a lot of determination, a lot of not giving up, because starting from scratch. So it's like building relationships, seeing where it can go. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to get into real estate. I was figuring it out along the way, but all the jobs that I had, kind of, especially the chief of staff roles, and the CFO, CMO roles, taught me a lot about being strategic and planning in advance, and thinking ahead, and thinking about finances and taxes and everything like that also.
Wow. So let's go into what your first deal looked like, and well, let's look at that first, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, so my first deal was a deal in Cumming, Georgia. It's new development, so that was like a $9.9 million deal. Closed on that one, and that was hard. Trying to raise that much amount of money in a short amount of time, because it was like 30 days or something like that. So raising the equity position for that, building relationships and meeting with, brokers, meeting with agents, meeting with investors that had capital that, wanted to 2x their money. Because, real estate is mostly about relationships and, building those with people and, showing them, that you have integrity also, and, walking them through the deals and walking, the land, and, seeing how you can go from concept on paper, with the buildings and how everything's going to be structured, to actually, putting it pencil to concept to actually building it. And it's a lot, but it's a lot of learning, which I love. I love the pitfalls. I love, learning along the way. Different things are hard in life, but it's your perception. It's in your mind. It's how you can take it and learn and develop from it. So I learned a lot along the way. But we got the deal done and made it happen. And we're excited to start, bulldozing, all the trees and, getting the land developed and stuff like that on it.
Wow. So when you first started, like around the right before the raise and right at the raise, how many hours were you dedicating to
this? Man, so still now. So I work from like 7, 8 in the morning till 11, 12 sometimes. It just depends from day to day. I work crazy hours. As any entrepreneur does, right? You want to get the job done, and you will do whatever it takes in a relentless pursuit to get it done. I had a why, and if you don't know what your why is and to what you're due, and being strategic with how you're going to get there, then it's hard. So with anything that you're trying to pursue as an entrepreneur, you have to have a really deep why and have a couple of whys to you. So like mine was like to retire my mom in 2 years, because she did so much for me. And she did so much. And so I was like, man, if I can retire her in 2 years, that would make my life, that would do it for me. I'm not in real estate for the money aspect. I'm in it to bring jobs into communities, and to be able to help my family, to be able to walk Caleb, through sites, and Zoe, with a hard hat, my sister's kids and stuff like that, and to be able to make a difference in communities and bring jobs and just make a difference. That was why. And then we do a lot of philanthropy as well. So like I have a lot of veteran business partners also, and we're trying to build veterans facilities to be able to give back and be able to help, build like a trauma center. We walk like 176 acres up near 400, not near Blue Ridge, but before it. And so to build like a facility for them to be able to sleep at and stay in, so like apartments, a trauma center, so that they could heal naturally and not just be given pills and like here you go, deal with your PTSD and deal with your suicidal thoughts. Actually getting down to the root cause of the issues that they're having, and be able to really make a difference in people's lives in that way. Because a lot of people deal with depression, ADHD, ADD, suicide, stuff like that. And it's like, okay, how can we make an impact in people's lives and make a difference? Like real estate is a way to be able to do it, because you can build facilities, be able to facilitate that. And then you can deal with the political realm also, where you can, talk with them about policies and changing policies as well, to be able to implement that, to be able to actually really make more change than you possibly thought you could.
Yeah. Have you thought about, because I'm hearing on top of the philanthropy, but also wanting to provide jobs. Have you thought about, or are you into, I just had the name on the tip of my tongue, but the investor visas, 50, come on, Mr. Attorney, what is it? With the investor visa? Yeah, EB5. Have you thought about, my secret shadow in the back?
Yes.
Have you thought about EB5 investments?
No, I haven't, not yet.
Okay. That's I thought about that when I first started getting back into real estate. So my wife has or is in mental health and healthcare now. So yeah, a lot of that
goes hand in hand with what you do.
And I also feel the same way, because we had a mental health clinic here in Houston in the Woodlands, and it's amazing. So many people don't realize that they actually deal with anxiety, depression.
Oh
They
yeah.
think
And
that
a lot
this
of
is
people
just kind of
don't know
normal.
that they have it either. You know, like they might think like they might think like something's wrong with them, but they don't know how to deal with it, and or they don't want to talk with people to be able to figure it out. And you know, that's okay, but you know, giving them a safe space for them to go to and deal with their, you know, traumas and childhood traumas too, because that in turn, you know, when you grow up, it still stays with you if you don't you know, get over that and be able to heal from that too. And so, you know, be able to make change in that aspect too, is what I'm trying to do too. Because I'm an empath, and I love trying to help people and guide people and be able to give them a voice of change, and you know, be able to, you know, like with the real estate stuff I work on, right? Like if somebody wants to come in as a partner on the capital raise side, I'm like, okay, that's great. Like we could definitely partner. And what are you trying to learn? You know, like, are you trying to learn development? Are you trying to learn construction? Like, what else are you trying to do, you know, in or get into, you know? So like I met with a couple of capital raisers this past weekend, and you know, they were like, what, like you're trying to help us learn too? I was like, yeah, why not? Like I would want that, you know. Like I try to do right by everyone that I meet, anyone that I talk to, because I know in twofold it will come back
Yeah.
to me, and karma does too. And so, you know, I always try to be genuine with who I am and what I can do for people, and try to help other people in any way that I can, you know. So I was like, yeah, you know, if y'all want to learn development, y'all can, you know, come on site with us, see how the development is, how we structure, you know, everything, how we put, you know, the construction schedules together, how that works, what kind of vendors we're using, you know, what kind of Excel spreadsheets we're using, what price points are we using, stuff like that. So, you know, some people are like, why are you trying to help us that much? You know, and I'm like, it's just naturally how I am, you know, like I would want that. I would want somebody to do that for me. So why wouldn't I do it for somebody else?
Right. Right. We're gonna be
Yeah.
good friends because I'm the same way.
Yeah. And I
My
mean, you
partner's
know,
like,
a
you're
lot of
teaching somebody
people,
else.
yeah, but then in turn, like a lot of people use it and abuse it too.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, I was, you know, gonna bring on a capital raise person, and she tried to steal the project from me with somebody
Oh,
else. And I was like, wow, I mean, you know, like I brought you on to help you and
right.
to kind of mentor you and walk you through projects, and you know, so like stuff like that happens too, but it can't change who you are as a person. Because with some people it will completely like change them, and they'll be like, oh no, I'm going to screw over everyone now, you know. It's like, no, don't let people that try to do that to you and try to be nasty and mean and bitter and whatever the case may be, don't try, you know, don't let that turn you into a horrible person because of what somebody else did. You know,
Yeah.
I always try to remember that too, because
I
I've been screwed over I don't know how many times. Yeah. Yeah.
no flashbacks.
Yeah, flashback.
How
Yeah.
many people are on your team currently?
So I have a development and construction side. They have probably about 15 people. And then me, and I brought on somebody, but I'm not going to work with her. That was the one I was talking about. And then I'm bringing on two more private capital people as well, because I have to raise, I think, like 150 million in a year or something like that. And so it's a lot. And so I always say, you know, collaboration beats competition. And so if I can collaborate with people and be able to share the wealth, and, you know, bring other syndicators and private capital raisers, and other investors, you know, to the table that wants to put funds in, that wants to 2x their money, I would rather do that rather than me just trying to do it all by myself, you know, and help
Right.
other people as well.
So I'm gonna ask a dumb question.
No question is dumb. Okay, no question is dumb.
The $150 million raise.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume that it's a 506c, but I want to ask, is it a 506c raise?
Yeah, most of them are. Yes.
Okay.
Some of them are 506B. So,
Okay.
can't discuss those. But the other ones are 506Cs.
Would you like to give some small kind of excerpt of the 506c? So when I do a snippet, I can put that out there as well and kind of help you raise that funds? Or do you want to just move on to the topic?
We can talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have 15 people on one side and a few people on the
and
other
then
side.
three on our side. So, mostly for the past 2 years, it's mostly been me, doing so I'll have like 10 to 15 meetings a day, either in person, on Zoom, on calls, whatever the case may be. Like I'm out on the road, by 8 o'clock, sometimes 9, and I won't be back till like 11, 12,
Wow.
give or take, depending on, if I'm going to like a real estate event, or meeting with people just nonstop. So, I meet with people nonstop every day. Still, I try to give myself like mini breaks. But like I'm doing all that. Plus I'm, doing all the marketing on the LinkedIn, because my background's in marketing as well. So, or walking, land and stuff like that. So I also work on the marketing component on like LinkedIn, Facebook, or like doing, podcasts and interviews and stuff like that. So that's kind of all me. I like being the one to reply to people like on LinkedIn, and I like to be the one to message because it sounds more personable coming from me rather than it sounding like a robot coming from somebody else. So like that's again where like I get my followers too, because they're like, wow, okay, I'm actually talking to you. I'm not talking to a robot. I'm like, hey, here's my number. If you want to call me, you can. And they're like, oh, I thought it was like a
Auto response. I was like,
Yeah.
no, it's really me.
You're talking to me.
I get a lot of assistant replies. This is such and such assistant. We will
Oh, yeah.
relay a message, and they'll
Yep.
be happy to meet with you. And yeah, so it's a breath of fresh air when you get to speak to the person directly. And I do deal with quite a few high-level people who do respond directly, but I do deal with other people and I get assistance, which I mean, as long as we can get to whatever we're trying to do, I don't, but it is a breath of
Right.
fresh air to be able to speak to the human that you want to talk to. So
Right.
So what's next? So after the development is done, what's next for you? What's in your crosshairs?
So I mean, we have a lot of different projects going on. Like in Georgia, we have one in Florida. I have an Arkansas deal I'm going to start working on. We have other new development projects. Some of them have like a lot of publicity to it, and political and government intertwined into it. And then we have other projects, that are like, clients that are wanting, help from a mentorship standpoint, or they're needing like a capital raise also. So I'll help, clients get that together, get the pro forma together, get the marketing package and stuff like that. With my construction and development team, they'll help me put all that together, and then, we'll go walk land and stuff like that. And just do these developments and make a difference in communities. And the next step after that is the veterans facility, be able to build something and then give back as well. So like 10% from me and 10% from my business partner. Those will go to a foundation or something that actually is doing work to be able to help and that has kind of like the same visions that we do.
How do you keep your energy up?
You know, mental health is really important. Taking, mini breaks if I need to. I'll take like mini 15 breaks every couple of hours if I need it, because I'll overwork myself. Like I've overworked myself to where like I had a pinched nerve, and I had to get my chiropractor to adjust me from standing so much and working so much and driving so much all around town. So I take my vitamins, I work out, I try to keep my mental health good. I do a lot of affirmations and manifestations in the morning to get my day going. So I'll like speak positivity into my mind, so I'm starting my day on a positive realm, so I can't throw myself off and stuff like that, because when you start your day positive, most likely the rest of your day will be positive. And when I have like bad things that'll happen or something like that, I try to tell myself that it's only an hour of a bad day, not a whole day. It's just a bad hour, not a bad day itself. So changing my mindset and stuff like that, listening to positive YouTube videos, so that I'm keeping that positivity flowing, so I'm keeping my good energy up all throughout the day.
Wow. Do you take mini naps?
No,
I probably need to. I mean, I'm so used to the grind and the hustle and bustle that I don't need mini naps anymore. I might have my days where I'm like this hour is not my hour. But I'll listen to positive, YouTube videos and stuff like that to get my mind back on track and to get back on focus, or like I'll meditate to get my mind back there so I can get back to the grind of things.
So you have many strong suits, and you kind of already hinted to this. What is your strongest attribute, and then what do you like to do the most? So for example, me, I'm really good with numbers, but I like to do the marketing, branding stuff the most.
Yeah.
Is it you, or how are you? What's your character traits like?
My character trait is I am really good with people. I'm really good at reading people, and I am very personable. So if I get in a room with people, I have no idea, I would be best friends with everyone by the time I leave. Legit. If you ask anybody that knows me, they will tell you that. And I try to help everyone around me. For instance, like one of my business partners, is had a brain concussion. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to order you all this brain stuff. Like I'm going to send you food. And they're like, dude, like, why are you being so nice? And people aren't used to people being nice and helping, but like naturally I'm that way. Naturally, I'm very giving. I'm very loyal. I try to help everyone that I can. And to some people it's bad, but but to me it's good. I do it in moderation. I don't go too overboard with it, but that is one of my very strong suits that I have. And then what was the other part of the question?
It was kind of 2 in 1 question. So what is your strongest suit, but what do you like to do the most?
I love networking and meeting people. Yeah, I love networking and meeting people, like meeting new people and trying to figure out like how people think. Because I'm very observant with people as well, so I can figure out people's mannerisms and things like that kind of very quickly. So I love meeting people, seeing how other people think, how they process stuff, how they got to where they got to, and then and then also like I try to talk people through this is going to sound weird, like childhood traumas and stuff like that, like try to heal them from a mental standpoint. Because, childhood trauma could affect how you are as an adult. And so when I, meet people, they'll start opening up and talking about their life and their experiences. And I'm very intrigued by it. And then, then I'm like, okay, well, do you think you do this because you wanted that as a child? And so subconsciously you do things like that. And they're like, you know what? You're kind of right, So I like to help people in that aspect too. Because I'm again an empath. And so I can feel people's energies. I can feel their emotions. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Because it can drain me completely. But that's probably another reason why I really try to help people, because I try to heal them from, things that they're going through, now, and then things that they've occurred, as a child too.
Yeah, my wife is an empath, so it's a lot to take on, big burden.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah.
So once the dust starts to settle, and the amazing passive income and the equity that you're getting from these properties on the exit, what are the treats that you're going to bless yourself with?
Retiring my mom, and building her the house that she's always wanted. Giving my niece and nephew like a trust fund that they can use when they get older, when they understand, and give back and help other people.
So you put yourself last. So what are you gonna get yourself?
Yeah, see?
Never even thought about it, have you?
I don't know. I always put other people, before me, and to some people that's a horrible idea. I put myself first in a lot of different aspects in regards to like, okay, I need to work out, so I'll take out time for myself, and for my mental stability to do that. So in a lot of aspects I do, but I try to help a lot of people too. So maybe I don't know, build a house on the water, maybe build like, a small house on the water or something like that, because I love the water. And I love hearing it when I'm drinking my coffee. So maybe something like that, but nothing too crazy, just subtle, but mostly like giving back and, maybe building, schools and third world countries and stuff like that, be able to really make an impact. Because, when I leave this earth, it's like this, like when I leave this earth, I don't want people to be like, oh yeah, she had like 15 cars, bro, and like 3 houses. It's like, no, like I want to go out with, she made a difference in my life. She made a massive positive impact in my life, and I will remember her for that. That's how I want to go out, not with materialistic stuff,
I'm
that
trying
you
to go
can
right
buy.
in the middle.
Right.
I like cars.
I love cars too. I love cars too. I'm a tomboy. I love, going mudding and four-wheeling and shooting guns and tackle football and paintballing. And I've been, turkey hunting, deer hunting. So, internally I'm, I love doing our bro stuff. That's why I get along with a lot of men, because I love doing all the bro stuff.
You need to come down to Texas, because a lot of women like doing a lot of those things.
Yes, I've heard that. Like other women that live in Texas, they're like, yes, like you need to come here and we need to shoot some guns. I was like, yes, I'm totally in.
Yep. A lot of times it's more women going four-wheeling and mudding and hunting than there is.
It's so much fun.
So,
it is so much fun.
So that's going to be a exercise I'm going to charge you with for our next podcast interview. I'm going to say, hey, what are you going to buy for yourself? And
right.
You'll be like, I thought about it. Nothing.
I thought about it. Yeah.
That's amazing. So for your projects, have you guys developed all of your, I don't want to say software, but like your analyzers and the project management stuff, did you develop that internally or did you purchase it externally, or is it a mix?
It is a mix. So, we have mixtures of those. We use like cash flow software, and then we have different Excel spreadsheets that we use as well, especially with like the vendors and stuff like that, with all of the line items on the construction side. And then we have a full spreadsheet for the development also. And then we use other softwares for other things also. But I like my Excel spreadsheets too, but I'm looking at like a cash flow portal also to be able to utilize.
Right. I was thinking of what is it, Appfolio, but I don't think it's a cash flow. I think they just focus on more of the overall assets and
Like asset
calculating.
management and stuff like that.
Yeah, more than the actual cash flow part.
Okay.
Is there a target return that you guys try to look
Stay
for?
in.
Is it,
To stay in.
to stay, yeah, or on the, and here's another question to add on top of it. Are development returns that you are looking for different from a stabilized return?
Yeah, so with the new development, our ROI is looking from like 22.6% to like 2x. It just depends on which project. And I'm also putting together a fund right now as well. So if people don't have, a couple million to invest on a project, they can just put it in the fund and it'll be utilized for different projects and stuff like that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
20s return first percentage for development, and then what about
To 2x?
2x on a stabilized?
No, so the new development, it ranges from like 22.6% to 2x.
Okay.
It just depends from, project to project, and what all that looks like. And then from a value add standpoint, we're looking at like in the 22 range or 25% ROI also. So it just depends. And, you want to look at the gap rates also, and what the gap rate is from the beginning, and then what the gap rate looks like on the exit also. So you can put your performance together and your numbers together. So it all makes sense from a financial standpoint. And then what your exit strategy is, like if you're going to cash out refi, or, if you're going to buy and hold, and, what does that look like also? Because, different investors want different things,
Yes.
like different investors want their money like ASAP, like tomorrow. And then, some are like, no, just like put in 15 million, like I'll wait, because their objective is just to see the development happening in that community. And they know that their money will make that difference. So it just depends from person to person, because they want different things. They want different cap rates. They're, some are looking strategically for, value add, multifamily, they want a cap rate at 4%. They, want the ROI at a certain percentage, and stuff like that. So it just depends from project to project.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's what we try to explain to either our investors or students. I heard you mention coaching. Do you have a program? Do you do any specific coaching that you want to mention? Or do you just like me and like to, well, we have a coaching program as well, but I like to pour into people. Do you have a program?
I've been asked to do one. I've been asked by a lot of people to like do a coaching mentor program. Like yourself, I always love pouring into people and being able to help people. And so, it's like, okay, like maybe I can do one. So I'm, looking into doing one. I mean, I would take on people to be able to, coach them and kind of train them and walk them through how I do capital raise, how all that works, putting all the entities together and stuff like that. And then the marketing, piece as well, and getting the performa together, concept of paper, walking land, different things you're wanting to look for. What does that look like? Their marketing strategy also with reaching out to people, and then bringing them on into my network and the people that I know. So, like with anybody that I meet, at the end of our conversation, I'm like, yeah, so, like, who are you wanting to get introduced to that I could help you and introduce you to? They're like, yeah, I'm looking for architects or developers or something like that. Or, hey, I saw you're connected, you have 24,000 followers on, LinkedIn, can you connect me with this person? I'm like, yeah, sure. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Like, they're like, you don't want anything out of it? I was like, no,
Taco.
no. Mexican food? No.
Well, I'm in Texas, so my brain goes tacos.
Yes, I love tacos. Love tacos.
Everybody loves tacos.
They're so good. They're so good.
So from the projects that you are in now, how do you see yourself and your team and even what you're looking for? Have you or are you guys pivoting in any kind of way to handle the recession?
No, so we, have our performa. If we need to change things on the construction or development aspects or the land acquisition, we will. But we go based off of that. Plus, we have really good relationships with our vendors, with our GCs, with our construction team, our development team. And so, I still meet people on the construction side. Like I just met a guy who owns a concrete company, right? So that if anything happens, and like one of the concrete guys are like, hey, I'm shutting down my company now, I'm scared, I'm going to back out, then I already have 2 or 3 people lined up to be able to take that position on the concrete side. But if you let fear get into your ambitions and what you're wanting in life, you're always going to be scared, and you're always not going to go after your goals and what you want. You just need to be strategic and plan in advance. I think that's where my chief of staff role for a long time comes into play and helps, because I'm very strategic with what I do. And like I like to help and plan, and help people plan in advance. Like, okay, what's your goal in the next 3 to 5 years? Like, okay, well, we need to do this, hire this person, make these changes to be able to make that come true for you. So, I mean, there is fear out there. Yes, we've kind of already hit a recession already, but if you have the good teams in place, if you have the good vendors in place, if you have the good construction, development, real estate team in place, I mean, there's land being demolished all over the place. Like, okay, example, during COVID, what was essential, right? So construction was essential. So like with my woodworking company, we didn't shut down. There was like COVID, construction was known as essential. So we were still in the office every single day during COVID. We were still on site every single day during COVID. There wasn't like a, hey, we're gonna like shut down and not do anything. We were still having to go on site and do work and stuff like that. And our guys were still in the shop, building stuff and putting stuff together. So, just being strategic and, like looking into, like I also help clients look into government contracts, right? Like looking at things that aren't going to go away when a recession hits, like Amazon blew up during COVID.
Yeah, they did. I should have bought
blew
stock.
up. Right. So being, so I also help, clients get government contracts in that aspects where, if
if things do hit the fan, you know, you have another income stream to go into to where like, you know, you'll be fine. Again, that's where my chief of staff hat comes into play, is because I'm like, okay, let's get multiple income streams coming in. Let's start now and being strategic about it now, so that when shit hits the fan, you're fine. You're not, you know, flustered and trying to figure out, oh my gosh, my income. No, you have 10 incomes lined up. You don't need to worry.
Right.
You know, so, you know, working on stuff like that with my clients also to make sure that, you know, they're secure in that aspect.
I think it was Warren Buffett that said something along the lines of, said, man, 3 of my companies just went bankrupt, but the other 1,000 are doing well.
Right. Because I mean, if you have only one income, then, you know, if that one job or that one project goes away, you're kind of screwed because you're relying on it. So then you become desperate, and you don't want to become, you know, desperate in any economy, in any job, you know, at all.
Yeah. You mentioned you starting a fund. Are you starting one fund or multiple funds?
Multiple. I'm in the process of, you know, legal with that now. So trying to figure out, you know, everything with that aspect.
Okay. That was pretty much all the questions I have.
Okay.
Let me take everyone off of mute. To make sure nobody had any questions or comments. Hey, Angel, I appreciate you you joining. I can't wait for our podcast. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Crystal?
This is Melvin Fairby. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
I'm the ghost in the art gallery with Presley. So I'm here. I'm not on the screen now.
Okay.
You mentioned a bad experience with a team member. Can you go into how you select your service professionals? So as chief of staff, what do you look for in a lawyer, an accountant, GC? I've gone into in past podcasts how we kind of, you know, vet a team that you're going to go into deals with, but how do you vet your professionals that work alongside you?
So I vet them by, you know, meeting them, you know, seeing how they are from a personal standpoint, and then, you know, what kind of projects that they've worked on, and kind of seeing, you know, if we can work together. I always like to kind of put them on a test run to see if, you know, they'll try to screw me on the deal, you know, like try to take me off, and then, you know, try to take it for themselves. And I'll give people, you know, chances, or a chance in that aspect. And if I see that they do, then I'll just completely take them off, so that I never work with them again. But, you know, going through their profiles, you know, talking with them, meeting up with them for, you know, a couple of meetings, trying to figure out how they are as a person, you know, what they've worked on, what their ambitions are, what their goals are, you know, seeing if it's all about greed and money, or if it's about like making change, if we're on the same page. If we're on the same page, then, you know, then I'll give them a chance. I'll work with them. But if I figure out, you know, I found out from another person that this person was, you know, trying to screw me on the deal. So that's kind of how I, you know, vet people.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any more questions or comments from anybody? This podcast is oddly light because I think, like everybody else, they're trying to get their kids ready for school next week.
Oh yeah,
Which
yeah,
I've been
definitely
doing for the past 3 days.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because school started back up.
Yes, and
That's
mine
right.
is going to start in high school next week.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So that's going to be fun.
That'll
Yeah,
be interesting.
I have a high schooler, which is weird.
Yeah,
All
good
right,
luck.
well, do you have any nuggets or special comments or anything that you would like to leave with the audience before we leave?
Man, I would say a lot.
I know.
But A little snippet, I guess I would say, is, if you have goals and ambitions and dreams and, things that you're wanting to do in life, to never give up. And, if people tell you that you're not good enough, don't listen to them. Only listen to you and what you know that you're capable of and that you're learning and growing every single day. And to never give up on your dreams, and don't give up on it for anybody or anything. And know your worth, know what you bring to the table, and don't let anybody try to take it from you as well. Yeah, it's my little snippet.
I know you want to unpack a lot because
Yeah, I can unpack that a lot. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on. I knew it was going to be amazing, and you didn't disappoint at all. And I'm really
No,
happy
thank you.
chance to be able to meet you and learn more about you and be able to give all that you were able to give me to the rest of the world. So if you're watching this on one medium, or if you're watching this, it's probably either on one of the social media platforms or YouTube. You can also see the whole interview. See the whole interview on YouTube, or listen to it on pretty much most of the podcast outlets, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and all that stuff. So I appreciate you, Crystal, for joining.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anytime you want to join again, just let me know, and I'll bring
Okay.
you back. And I appreciate you.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Bye.
All right, bye.